big picture, what should they be doing at the top of the draft? Is it they need to take a quarterback, or is there merit to the idea of taking a wide receiver, taking a tackle?
No, you never take the wide receiver early until you have the quarterback, number one, and two, that the roster can be really good. I was part of the Lions when we took Calvin, and Calvin was unbelievable, but we weren't good enough at quarterback or the rest of the roster to pay it off. So answer the question, number one, it has to obviously start with who's making the decision. Is there a new coaching staff there, or is Coach Belichick and that staff still there? That's the starting point. Number two, whatever decision is made in regards to that, where do they stand on obviously Mac Jones? Is there a new coaching staff that's like, no, Mac Jones is going to be a good player here. We just got to put the right people around him, or is it Coach Belichick saying I want to start over, or vice versa, new staff and says nope, I want a new quarterback. So if you have one of those first two picks and living in the world where new staff or not, moving on from Mac Jones, I personally still believe Mac Jones is a starting quarterback in the NFL at a good level. Okay, that's still my personal confidence in him. If they decide to move on and they have one of those first two picks, I think you have to take one of those two stars out of Caleb Williams or Drake Maye. Absolutely. I think both of them are too talented to pass up. Now, the Patriots roster is obviously devoid of talent. We talked about that specifically on the offensive side, but I don't think you could pass those guys up if you're at one or two.
Dan, and with those two guys in particular, do you think that there's merit to those guys waiting behind a bridge quarterback or starting from day one if the Patriots draft them for next season?
Yeah, you always prefer the person to wait, unless there's a reason that they can't. Now, the reason they can't is more often than not, they have not played enough of college snaps, so they need football repetitions. Carson Wentz, an example. Trey Lance, an example. Mark Sanchez, an example. Anthony Richardson this year with the Colts. So that's always the reason why you want them to be out there. Always prefer a guy to wait. The hardest challenge from going to college to the NFL is, one, you have flaws as a player. You have warts. You have things you have to develop and get rid of. There's pressure no matter how many years you've been in the NFL to win every single Sunday. It's very difficult to develop as a player while also doing everything you possibly can to win. So you always prefer a guy to have the opportunity to kind of break some of the flaws and bad habits that they have in their game. And then the next step is, does the player have something, skill and or trait that they can survive with? The first goal is survive. The next goal is thrive. Do they have some type of skill or trait that they can somewhat survive with and not kind of get themselves so beat up or play so poorly that they're ruined or mentally broken?
Is that the case with Drake Maye and Caleb Williams?
Well, Drake's played a gajillion snaps. I've called a bunch of Drake's games. I called Drake's games when he's a true freshman. Drake has played, thousands of college snaps. A lot of that in a pass-heavy offense, so he has seen multiple defenses. It's almost like an air raid type of, philosophy down there with both Phil Longo and then Chip Long this year. So he's played a ton of snaps. Caleb obviously has played a ton of snaps. So for either of those guys, you're not concerned with them not having a ton of reps. It's just going to be stylistically who they like, who someone likes better. Drake is 6'5", 240 pounds. Unbelievably competitive and, family that has a rich history, and he is unreal talented. Caleb equally as talented. Out of structure is jaw-dropping. In structure, doesn't like to do it, but hasn't necessarily been tasked to. He's 6'1", 210 pounds. Do I think teams are going to have reservations about the size? I do. Why? Because, and I've swung a little bit on this if I'm being candid, is a lot of the quarterbacks that have come into the league early draft pick wise that haven't been big stature guys haven't excelled yet. Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Bryce Young this year. So I do think that's going to force some organizations to have reservations about the size.
Dan, let's say that the Patriots do hold on to Mac Jones and that he is here for his last year before his contract's up. What steps can this team make, and what should be emphasized, I guess, in terms of those steps in order to help him be successful again?
Yeah, rebuild the offensive line. The offensive line, you guys know, I've talked about that on a weekly basis, has been really poor, and they would have to add at least 2 pass catchers that are high-end players. They don't have to be bona fide number 1 stars, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, but you would say, hey, go get T. Higgins. Go get a player of that caliber. You need 2 of them realistically. Now, again, I think anyone that ever hears me talk knows where I stand on Mac. The challenge is, you would have to be such a big year for him, and it's almost like what the Bears are going to face this year. The Bears, there's evidence that Justin Fields isn't a bad player. Given everything that's around him, there's evidence you go, are we sure we want to just move on from this guy that has had moments? But then also, you get 1 year to make that decision now in a decent situation before you might have to pay him. And then you could be the Giants where they wait and, they hold on, and then the guy has an okay year and he gets $1 gajillion, and you're sitting there going, oh, my gosh, what are we doing?
Talking to Dan Orlovsky of ESPN. He joins us every week here on Jones and Mego with Arcand on WEEI. We asked you last week, would it look any better with Bailey Zappi over Mac Jones? You said no. Did it look any better with Bailey Zappi over Mac Jones?
No.
What? Nothing looked better? Because I largely agree with you. I don't think for this week it looked any better. Nothing looked better, though? There were no areas where they improved?
I don't think so, no. The Chargers defense is one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL, and everyone is taking advantage of blown coverages from them, and New England offensively did not. So nothing looked more rhythmic. I guess you could say there weren't those odd turnovers that Mac, has been a part of this year. There wasn't forcing, or stress situations. That's, again, been a calling card for Mac this year, but there wasn't any more rhythm. There wasn't any more success. There wasn't any more plays that you sat there and said, that's the way it should look, strung to strung on a play-by-play basis. Obviously, no points. So I don't think it'll look any better for the next month either.
Dan, you went through some ups and downs as a quarterback in the NFL. I'm wondering if you have reached out to Mac since his position with the team changed.
No. I think I don't know if I misrepresented it or not either, but I don't talk to Mac on that consistent of a basis. I've probably talked to Mac 2 times this year, maybe 3. So no, I have not reached out to him.
That's pretty consistent.
I don't, I don't know. I don't think that is that abnormal. He's not the only quarterback that I have any type of, or player that I have communication with. Some of them are friends. Some of them are just guys that I'm just fans of. Some of them you have communication indirectly, maybe through an agent of theirs or a friend of theirs or a teammate of theirs. So, but no, I have not spoken with Mac.
Have you had any of that around Mac? Since he, I guess,
no.
got demoted?
No, I haven't. I really haven't communicated in any way with Mac or anybody associated with Mac or in regards to Mac in probably, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, maybe 6, something wrong there.
All right, Dan, you're in the trust tree here, so you can be honest with us. How much of this Thursday night game are you actually going to watch?
Live?
Yes.
0.
How much tape are you going to grind of Mitch Trubisky and Bailey Zappi, I guess, then?
I'll watch every snap Friday morning. I'll wake up Friday morning. They usually wake up Friday mornings around 5 and grab a cup of coffee, sit by the fire, and watch Thursday Night Football. No, usually I'm watching Thursday Night Football live, but I won't watch tomorrow night. We'll do a Christmas movie, and I'll watch every snap Friday morning.
What movie?
I think tomorrow night will probably be either The Boy Called Christmas or The Boy Named Christmas. I forget which one,
What's
the exact
that?
name of it.
Is that some new one, or is that a claymation thing?
That is no. That is a
Boy
I
Called
believe
Christmas
Netflix.
2 years ago, yeah.
It is off the charts good. Or Christmas Chronicles, one of those two, likely.
What is Christmas Chronicles? What is that, like a
Jesus, guys.
What is that, like a Hallmark
what are
one?
we
Oh, it's
doing?
about
Recent.
Jesus?
That was
No.
2018, yeah.
Christmas
We're talking
Chronicles,
Jesus?
Netflix.
Kurt Russell,
Guys, Kurt Russell.
Goldie Hawn.
It is awesome.
Kurt Russell plays Jesus.
No,
Dan-
he's Santa Claus.
Dan, I pretty much just watch Home Alone and Home Alone 2 on a loop for the next month. That's
And
pretty
Die
much
I mean,
all.
those are
that's pretty
great,
much all
but
I
these
do.
do any of the people I'm speaking with, and this is honestly education. If we come across disrespectful, it's not. Do kids?
Yes, I have a child. So does Arcand.
I have a
yes.
1-year-old. Yeah.
Yeah, a 5 and a 1-year-old between the two of us.
I am a child.
Me too. You guys need to watch both The Boy Named Christmas and Christmas Chronicles by next week.
All right.
They're awesome,
Homework.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess if
and
you,
they're both capable to be watched like adults and children.
I
together.
guess
They're
if
great.
I guess if you're going to grind tape on the Patriots and the Steelers,
watch Kurt Russell play Santa
we'll
Claus.
grind some Kurt Russell Christmas movies. That sounds good. That's a deal,
Get
Dan.
it done.
That's a
Get it
deal.
done.
We'll talk to you next week. Okay, Dan. We appreciate it.